Welcome to the After Party Hangover. I'm your host, Mangria Fueled, and this is a show that talks about a show that talks about a show. Today's guest, the returning Zankchris, aka Chris Zank. How's it going, my man?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Well, there's been a shit ton of stuff that we got to get to in wrestling, but first, let us discuss the Steel Real After Party episode 97, Dumpster Daddies.
I love the title. I love the tag team too. I wish it was a real tag team.
It's gonna happen, watch. They gotta find something for Rowan, and this might be it. Well, they start out the podcast by talking about granny porn. I don't know if you've ever. I don't know if you've ever seen granny porn.
I don't want to do that. That's not my interest, though.
I do understand what Zanka was talking about, though, because there are several porn sites, and X videos is usually the one I go to. If you click on one video, like a whole bunch of other recommendations show up for some weird shit, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I agree, man. That is pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy listening to that.
But he did ask for recommendations. Do you have any recommendations for porn sites that won't frustrate him?
I don't know. The ones I particularly check out are the same ones they already mentioned, so
there's Pornhub, there's YouPorn, there's X videos, there's X Hamster, then that's about. You can just Google naked images if you're tired of that.
Exactly.
But then they started talking about pizza toppings, and this is one of my pet peeves. I'm half Mexican, and so my Mexican side comes out when I hear white people trying to say chorizo. They say chorizo. I would like some chopped up chorizo on my pizza. What about you?
Do you love chorizo?
What are your favorite pizza toppings? What do you order on your pizza?
I'm an all meats guy. I'm a meat dude. But in Wisconsin, we have all different strange ones. Like we have mac and cheese pizza up here, and we have all different types of cheese pizza. I once saw a cheese curds and beef stick pizza one time that you could buy. So there's a lot of weird stuff in Wisconsin.
Well, shouldn't expect anything less from Wisconsin. Isn't cheese your guys' thing?
It's totally our thing, so we'll put cheese on anything pretty much here.
Macaroni and cheese pizza actually sounds intriguing. I wouldn't mind trying that.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff, man. It's not bad.
It's
total carbs, bro.
My favorite toppings are salami, pepperoni, and olives. It's kind of plain, but it tastes good to me. And every pizza place does it differently, so you got to be kind of careful. But
exactly.
We got some new vocabulary from an unexpected source. This time, Jake provided us with minorstrosity when referencing his junk. I thought that was pretty damn funny.
A micro penis.
And Zanka, of course, he's never short on references to dicks. So he gave us Bulgarian egg roll, referring to Rusev's dick.
Yeah, that's gonna be about right. When he said that, I was busting a gut laughing.
And by the way, Moses is the 10 Commandments. I was screaming at my phone while I was listening to that. I was like, "Come on, Moses! Everybody knows that."
Me too.
Oh, jeez.
I hate the Rusev storyline, though.
Yeah,
I just hate it. I can't stand it.
Everybody's getting tired of that shit. It's ridiculous.
Just fucking end it. Have a blowout fight already and just end it.
Exactly.
But somebody heard that they wanted to do that storyline, which I can't believe. Why would they want to do it? It's such a garbage storyline. Lana cannot act. She is bad.
I think it's 100%. It's 100% looks when it comes to Lana.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a run-in here from Mr. Tryon. Mr. Tryon has joined us on the after-party hangover. We just dove into some granny porn and pizza toppings. And we're about to move on to blowing a whole bunch of smoke up Jake's ass right now because I believe this was his finest performance on the podcast to date.
I will agree with you on that one.
He introduced us to minorstrosity when referring to his micropenis.
Yes.
He took a chop for no reason. He did not have to take that chop because Zanka answered my question.
Right.
But he took it anyway, like a champ.
He nailed the LOL line of the week with his "I don't want to suck anyone's cum" line. And let me play you this clip of another thing he did that made me pop.
Oh, the one, the only Jake's prolapsed anus. That's disgusting. It's super gross, isn't it?
I was hella laughing at work.
Times, man.
Yeah, I was hella laughing at work when he did that, man. That was fucking funny. What did you guys enjoy from the podcast this week?
Dumpster Daddies was the best. That was the best.
Yeah, I gotta agree. Dumpster Daddies was good. Thinking of Lars in the Gimp outfit, that was another one.
Do you notice that if they ever do book Eric Rowan correctly, it's always going to be in a tag team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, because they tried with his single run when he took on Big Show in the TLC and Stairs match. That was kind of lame.
I forgot all about that one.
They gave him a clown mask. Did you guys remember that? There was one time he used to wear the mask that used to be like that goat, but then they gave him like a clown mask for a while.
Didn't he go on Talking Smack with that?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember he was on Talking Smack with it. They were like, what's going on? Now he's got a cage. I have no idea what's in the cage, but it is probably something bad.
Neither does WWE. They have no idea either.
They are desperately trying, man.
Feel sorry for the guy.
Me too. Well, I'm experimenting now with Lucha name generator. So I did Chris Zanka. Chris Zanka is simply known as Tornado Tijuana.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Tryon is Lucha name is El Chango Rapido.
Chango Rapido.
It basically means the fast Chango, and the Chango is like a South American person from Peru or something.
Okay.
All right.
No need to take that 23andMe test then.
Well, as always, on Tuesday nights, some super breaking news happens to where the guys don't get to cover it. We got CM Punk back in WWE somehow. A little bit of CM Punk back into WWE. What is your guys' thoughts on that 1 minute that broke the internet?
They must give him a huge bag with a dollar sign on it. It must be huge. It's like a backpack or something. I don't know. For the longest time, I thought he would never come back, but they must throw in so much money at him to come back. That's all I can think. What's going on?
Yeah, I agree. It's got to be something like that. Just because, especially the way that he went out, for him to come back at all was surprising.
They backed up that Brinks truck for CM Punk. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Also from the podcast this week, Julius Caesar, once again, the hashtag hero, he had the hashtag of the night, pray for Jake, he's not sick, his life just shit.
That was awesome.
That's true.
That made me pop, man. He's excellent at those hashtags.
He really is.
Also, I don't know if, oh no, you guys, Zankchris knows, but Mr. Tryon, we got a name for the weekly APPW events now. It has been decided that the weekly show is going to be called APPW Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yes.
It comes from his dad joke during the podcast. I guess he decided on that, and everyone agreed it was pretty good.
Man, Jake, most improved host.
Exactly. This was his greatest week of the year. They're gonna put this on his highlight reel at his funeral.
Oh man, that's sad.
Well,
This is the best stuff.
here we go, guys. We're gonna dive into one hell of a few days of wrestling, starting with NXT. We kicked off with Angel Garza versus Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight Championship. Talk about an excellent fucking match, dude. They started NXT out with fire.
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot, man. But the false finishes are getting a little like crappy. Like I kept thinking like there was like moves that like should have ended the match completely, but they just kept going. But it was a hell of a match nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. The false finishes are getting a little out of hand, but you know what? It kept me hooked the whole time.
A big part of the match that made me go, oh snap, was when Garza ripped his pants off in front of Leo's family and like threw it down right in front of him.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good stuff.
What would you guys do if he did that to your family?
Exactly what Leo did. Take my mega pounder with cheese ass flying over the top rope at him.
I'm no cruiserweight, but I'd have been putting the hurting on him.
Chris Zank is like, this is how we do it in Wisconsin, bitch.
Exactly. Throw it down.
And then it took incredible.
So that was actually heel work by Garza too. He went right over to her.
Oh, he's a star for sure. Fun. He's a star. And the balance and strength it took for Garza to hit that moonsault power slam. Did you guys see that when I don't think I've ever seen that done before.
No, and that's where I thought they should have ended the match. That was like the end of the end. But it was like then he kicked out. I was like, what?
Did you see that, Tryon?
Sorry, yeah, got distracted. I saw a squirrel running by. That move, I agree with you, man. I thought that was going to end the match right there. I'm like, oh, that's it. There's no way.
And then after that, Leo hits a Spanish fly. He hits a springboard stunner. It's still false finishes, kicking out of everything. And Garza hits his finisher, the wing clipper, and Leo kicks out of that as well. It's a ton of false finishes, but these two guys are fast, athletic. They kept the action going nonstop, completely blowing AEW's first half hour out of the water.
For sure.
And then Garza was trying to hit his wing clipper from the second rope, I believe. And then
it looked like he was trying to get up the second rope.
And then Leo reverses it into his the moonsault, and Garza kicks out of that. He goes for it again, and then Garza's feet were under the ropes, but he still won. I'm surprised they did that. I'm surprised they didn't have like another ref come out and be like, hey, look at that, and they restart the match. But maybe the match was just going on too long, I guess.
I thought it was a way that they're going to keep the feud going a little bit, too, is what I thought. Because then he'll be like, next week he'll talk about my foot was under a rope, and they'll put a clip on it or something and give him a rematch or something.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, same here. That's what I think. That's the angle I think they're going for.
Yeah, they need something for War Games, so maybe they'll book it then.
Maybe.
Which, by the way, that's crazy. They're having War Games and then Survivor Series the next night.
It's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's just kind of messing up the storylines, though, because 1 minute these guys have to come together to be NXT, we have to hate each other at the same time. It's kind of...
Do you think
it's mashing them up?
It's kind of weird. It's a little weird because it's like, we hate each other, but next night we're tagging together. It's like...
Do you think it's because they want to give NXT a reason if they lose? They'll be like, well, they just went through a grueling War Games match, so of course they're not going to be 100%. Like, it kind of gives them a cheap way out for NXT to lose, maybe?
It's possible, for sure. Yeah. It's definitely possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because last year SmackDown just got blown out. That was fucked up. And maybe this year they want to give SmackDown the win regardless if NXT is in it or not. And plus, they're
Give
on Fox.
SmackDown the win, but make Raw look strong still.
Possibly.
That could be.
Then we get Tegan Nox and Rhea Ripley are attacked outside. This was the low point of NXT for me. I know what they were trying to do, but didn't it seem kind of corny? Like they did it I think they did it 3 times where they had all the women laid out and they were like acting like they were unconscious and they're just devastated by Bayley. Really? Can you picture Bayley laying out 7 women? Just give me a break.
No.
This whole time I thought that was Dakota Kai coming to get her revenge for not being put on the team.
That was a good
so when
swerve.
I saw it was Bayley, I'm like, so that's what I would have been cool the whole time.
But
yeah, but then when I saw Bayley, I went, oh, okay, it's Pam.
Then we get a Baszler video package. Shayna Baszler is just the best fucking woman in NXT. Her and Charlotte, I think, are tied for talented wrestlers, the 2 best in the company. I can't wait to see this upcoming War Games, and who the hell is going to take that title off her? I'm not sure.
Don't take it off her. Keep her down there forever. Keep her down. I like her down in NXT. She's the best heel. She's the best woman heel in the company. I mean, I don't think anyone's better than her. I hate her lackeys, but yeah, 2 lackeys are garbage. And Jake and Zen could talk about that, especially that one girl who's the blonde.
The Skeletor. Well, then we get Xia Li versus Aaliyah, and it was a short match. It was I guess decent. Xia Li wins, but apparently Xia broke Aaliyah's nose. I was not aware of this. I guess it was an extra.
It was like I had to rewind and look at it because I was like, "What happened? Like, what actually happened?" And then, bam, she got kicked right in the face.
Who would have thought that the most violent segments of the week would be women segments?
I would never guessed at all. Not at all.
It's a real women's evolution right there.
Did you catch that, Tryon, when Aaliyah broke her nose?
I didn't. I actually didn't see it until I went on Instagram, and it was like the first picture that popped up, and I was like, when did I start following Aaliyah? Didn't know. Then I'm like, then I saw she had a broken nose, and I had to go back and watch. And I still couldn't catch the moment when she did it.
Do you think Xia Li is...
She did this crazy punch, too.
Do you believe Xia Li is going to have a good future, or do you think she's going to be gone within a couple months?
She's boring.
Because she's been there for a while, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now we're at the point now where... we're at the point now where NXT, you don't really have time to develop, it seems like, anymore because of the Wednesday Night War. They want their hottest people out there.
It's like they're giving you a shot, and if you pop the crowd, you'll come back next week. If the crowd is dead, there goes your career.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then we get Finn Balor coming out, cutting a promo, talking trash about Matt Riddle, talking trash about Johnny Gargano, which is a damn shame, but if you think about the Gargano injury, maybe it's a blessing in disguise because now Finn Balor can have more time to build up to the Gargano-Balor match, maybe at the WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble takeover. It'll be a better match.
That would be cool.
And Matt Riddle, Finn Balor was on Corey Graves' podcast, which is a pretty good podcast, and he was asking him what his dream opponents would be, and Matt Riddle was one of them. So I guess they just had to rush this feud. But who do you guys think is going to win at War Games between Matt Riddle and Finn Balor?
Fuck, man. I think that could be one of the matches of the whole weekend. I don't know. That's a good one because they've been pumping Riddle like crazy. They want him to be like this big superstar, but they can't have Finn lose this early on, right?
No, I think Riddle can afford to take a loss in this one.
Do you really? Because remember he lost to Adam Cole, and that kind of brought his stock down a little bit. Do you think him losing to Finn Balor will be a good thing? I think it might knock him down a little bit lower.
Hopefully they don't do a one-off. If they keep this feud going for a little bit, I think that'll maybe let Finn win this one, let Riddle win another one, and then maybe have a rubber match.
And plus,
Yeah, that'd be good.
Finn could cheat to win. That would probably save face with Riddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then the Undisputed Era comes out. Ciampa comes out. Keith Lee comes out. And they all talk trash to each other, and it leads to the Roddy Strong versus Keith Lee match. Okay, I've praised Keith Lee probably since this Wednesday Night Wars started. Huge fan of Keith Lee. However, my God, this match was long, and Keith Lee was very slow. Like, they were trying to make it seem like Keith Lee was like this unstoppable force. I get it, but it was just going slow. It was going so slow, and Keith Lee was throwing like one punch, like it was. I don't know. I did enjoy the match overall. I just thought it was too slow. Keith Lee, come on, man, pick up the speed. You've shown us you can fly off the top rope. Why were they stretching this out? Was it counter programming to AEW? What do you guys think of the way they laid this match out?
I don't know. Roddy can go, and Keith Lee can go too. I've seen them both go in a crazy good match. I don't know if they needed to stretch time or something, or what they were trying to do. It just seemed, like you said, it was slow. And I like Keith Lee. I don't love Keith Lee yet. His promos recently have been getting me a little more into it, but like he seems just like a kind of average big guy. And he's not an average big, like muscly dude. He's just an average big guy. I don't know. So hopefully he does something in the War Games that really impresses me. So I like him. I don't love him.
What do you think, Tryon?
Well, Keith Lee is my spirit animal. So I usually love everything he does, but I will agree this one was a lot slower. I kind of found myself, maybe it's just because we come to expect bigger and better things from him. Because I was waiting the whole time, waiting for something to happen, and it was a good match, but like the high points really did kind of come was few and far between. But yeah, I just think Keith Lee, I just think he needs that moment. He hasn't had that moment yet where he just really breaks out. I think that he needs to have that big moment because his matches with Dominic Dijakovic were amazing. But hopefully, like I said, in War Games he does something that just is jaw dropping.
I think though that feud with them elevated both of them. Like it kind of introduced us to them, and each match kept getting better and better and better. So they did a great job building their characters on TV. But after the match ended with Keith Lee winning, we get a big old brawl outside. Everyone starts fighting everybody, and Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle got the numbers game. They got overtaken, but then here comes Dominic. I jerk off dicks to come save all of them. He came out and he laid them out, and the face off with Tommaso Ciampa getting the respect handshake, and then that perfect moment between Dom. I'm just gonna call him Dom. Dom and Keith Lee they had all this history, and they know they got to put it aside to take on the Undisputed Era because it's a bigger threat than either one of them to each other. I love that moment. That was a good moment. And then Tommaso Ciampa breaking it up and saying, "Hey guys, focus. We got to kill these guys over here." I thought that was a really great segment.
Who's going to be here? They're taking on Undisputed. Who's their fourth? Because they're moving Riddle out.
What did you say, Tryon?
I haven't figured that out.
What if they bring someone else from the main roster? Or the other roster?
They need to quit that.
Yeah, the other roster. NXT is the main roster.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about Swerve?
Swerve? Yeah, that's a good one.
Swerve would be a good replacement. Yeah, because that was the next segment. The next segment was Swerve versus Bronson Reed. I know it was a good effort on who won. Oh yeah, it was a great effort on Bronson Reed's part, but Swerve, he fucked him up, dude. Like he has the speed, he's got the agility. He wins with a jump kick to the back of Bronson's head while Bronson was sitting there. That was a great match, and Swerve would be an excellent replacement. Plus, it would get him in the spotlight. Like, people would get to know his name more. And I think that would be a good idea.
Wouldn't be bad. He would be a good replacement, I think.
They could go with Pete Dunne. But
see Pete Dunne, but then he's with other two guys.
Yeah, he's tied up
Priest
with
and
Killian and Priest.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne took on Killian Dane next, and
Tyler Bate.
That'd be a good one too. Tyler Bate is badass.
Yeah, but I think Damian Priest or Killian took him out, so I think you're right. I think it probably be Swerve, is what I'm guessing.
Well, we didn't even get Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane, really, because Damian Priest just fucked them both up, and then they all just started fighting each other. And who do you got, Tryon, for Pete Dunne versus Killian Dane versus Damian Priest? If they do a triple threat, who do you think would take that match?
I thought they've been pushing Priest pretty good, but I never bet against Pete Dunne.
Smart.
The bruiserweight.
Smart.
That's my guy.
However,
one of my favorites.
They're probably going to be pushing one of the either Damian or Killian because Pete Dunne had that gigantic title reign. If I had to choose, I would go probably Damian Priest because he's on a roll. What do you think, Zank?
Who? I'm not really sure in that one. I want to say bruiserweight, but I'm thinking it's going to be Priest.
Yeah, they keep pushing him, and I bet you he's impressing Triple H and the people backstage. So I wouldn't doubt that Damian gets a monster push as of recent events. Mia Yim getting interviewed backstage, and then Dakota Kai politely interrupts and says, "Hey, I'm on your side. If anything goes down, I got your back, yo." And then we get to the main event that blew my balls off. Mia Yim versus Io Shirai in a ladder match for the advantage at War Games.
That was brutal.
Fucking
it was
insane.
The most brutal thing of the week.
Insane.
I was not expecting it to be that brutal.
Yeah, neither was I.
Now, I've said on this podcast previously, I have no idea who Mia Yim is. I'm unfamiliar with her work. I didn't really care about her. And then this ladder match, to me, was Mia Yim's coming out party. Like, she proved to be like one of the toughest bitches in NXT, taking the beating that she took. Getting her nose, it looked like her nose was broken from that ladder strike. And then going on to perform that final spot in the match where she had to go through a ladder on the outside. Holy shit.
That was crazy. That was so crazy. And then she shows up on SmackDown like a couple days later, too. That was crazy, too.
And her face wasn't bruised up or anything.
Yeah, I thought she'd be out. I thought she'd be done. Like, I thought she was done with War Games and everything. Like, after I saw that, I was like, that's it. She's done. So, but it was lethal. It was so bad. I was like, I had to rewind it a couple times and watch it. I was like, that was so nasty looking. So, props to her, though, man. She put up a hell of a fight, and she really performed. She did what, if you remember a couple of years ago when Cesaro busted his teeth all up. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hardy Boys.
How could you forget?
Yep.
Yeah.
They got
that was a lethal match. When he got those teeth all messed up like that, I was like, oh. So, like, I think Mia's kind of set now. If she busted her nose up and continued to fight, Triple H definitely saw that in the back.
Who do you think has a better future, a brighter future ahead of them, Mia Yim or Io Shirai?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I want to say Mia, but I've never seen like a gangster gimmick go over really well. And she's kind of got that gangster girl vibe going on.
Yeah.
But they like Io Shirai too. They like her as a bad girl, so I can't tell you. I think they're both pretty equal right now, but I like them in NXT. I don't want them on the other rosters. I like where they're at.
Well, we get Mia Yim is basically taken out because we get a Kylie Ray run-in, who is the NXT UK Women's Champion. Are you either of you familiar with her, and do either of you watch the NXT UK brand?
I do on occasion, but ever since we've had the new wars, I've watched it less. I do know who Kylie Ray is. She's kind of an average wrestler. I don't think of her as the champion, but really over there they don't have many big stars in the UK. They have Toni Storm, and that's pretty much it. So that's about it. But I'm kind of familiar with her, and she's a good heel, so she kind of makes sense to fit in that group of the 4.
Tryon, did you watch the NXT TakeOver Cardiff?
I saw bits and pieces of it.
It was, I believe it was when Kylie Ray took the title off of Toni Storm.
Yes.
Kylie Ray is very unattractive, and I was not impressed with her at all during her match, so I'm really hoping she brings something to this War Games match. It's kind of cool having the NXT Women's and the NXT UK Women's Champion on the same team, so it should be entertaining.
I think they're all going to become one big thing soon. The NXT and 205 and all them. I think they're going to become one big ball of everything, but that's just me.
And I guess they ran out of time because there was maybe 20 seconds left, and here comes Frankenstein face with a chair attacking Shayna, and then they go off the air. Did you?
Yeah, I saw that. It was a weird ending. Might have.
Well, we can briefly go over AEW if you want.
Sounds good.
I wrote down just a few notes about AEW. I wrote down Luchasaurus returns. Marco Stunt is awful.
Yep.
Cody's botch with
so
Cody's botch with that power slam was very funny.
Hilarious.
Jericho and his MJF promo, they went back and forth. It was pretty entertaining. Wardlow debuts, and he looks like, I thought he looked like Chris Masters at first. I was like, who the fuck is that? Do you know who Wardlow is?
I did the same thing. I'm like, who is he? I'm like, who's this guy coming in? I'm like, I had no idea who he was.
It was kind of hard to take him as intimidating because he was dressed down like he was about to go out to dinner immediately afterward, or he just got done eating dinner.
Right, like he's taking his lady out, and then he came to the show. I had no idea who the guy was. And that's what they say in the podcast, too, is they say, all the time, I feel like AEW is really having trouble with that. It's you gotta, build somebody up, give them a promo, do something with a promo, because I am getting really sick of, just the same old stuff. I did like what they did with Moxley, though, and Moxley and Darby Allin, that was cool. I like that. That was pretty neat.
It should be a great match because, Darby, he's legit. I'm starting to like him more and more every week. And he might be a scrawny little skeleton, but that's going to be a crazy-ass match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be sweet. It's going to be one of those killer things. I thought about this week, though. There's a lot of, similarities, which doesn't seem like there would be, but there are if you look. There's similarities between AEW and WWE in some ways. Darby Allin reminds me a lot of Balor. And I was like, they're both skinny, they're both small, they both like the face paint thing. They're different a little bit in styles of wrestlers. Obviously, Balor's a lot more polished, but it kind of reminded me of him. And then the librarian guy reminded me a lot of Brood with his robe and everything like that. I'm like, there's just weird similarities between the two. So if you catch them every once in a while. But other than that, I couldn't tell you anything about them. There's just wrestlers on AEW that I'm like, okay. Like you said, Marco Stunt. He's small. You know what I mean? Well, Luchasaurus pretty much makes that team.
I'm very impressed with Awesome Kong, by the way. She's doing this intimidating gimmick where she takes hair trophies. I've never seen that done before. I think that's pretty badass.
That was awesome. I just listened to her on Jericho's podcast.
Yeah.
Because she was a guest on there, too. And that's different, too, because she's on Glow on Netflix, and she's a total different character, which is kind of neat. So, it's different.
Are you back, Tryon? Oh, it looked like his mic went back on. A common theme with every AEW show is the main events have been lackluster. They always finish weak. Can you think of one week where they finished where you're like, oh my God, that was the best finish ever?
No, but I'll tell you this. I have seen every week this gigantic brawl of everybody getting involved. This week it was It was the Satana and the other guy, and then it was the Young Bucks, and then we had Primetime, the other guys in there too, and the other Pirate Party. It's like they were all over the place. And then it was funny that Orange Cassidy was in the bathroom. That was a little silly, because that is funny when they just do little things with him like that. But there's always some big brawl, like they're saying. Like, there's always some big brawl. But, like, super ending to the thing, no, I haven't seen it yet. So, it is entertaining, but it's just like, I think they're going to get sick of the old, same old, you know?
I think that was my favorite
Hopefully
part.
not.
My favorite part of AEW was when, what is his name? Proud and Powerful opened the door. There's Orange Cassidy just standing there, just doing absolutely nothing. And then he slowly closes the door. That was my favorite part of the entire... That made AEW Dynamite watchable this week for me. I mean, I don't hate the show.
Funny.
It's just I'm a diehard NXT fan. Speaking of the two shows, AEW drew 957,000 viewers. NXT 750,000. So NXT has not won once, but in my opinion, it has been the better show on more than one occasion.
I like AEW. I like NXT. They're both good. It's just there's points in both of them. They're just like, but it's better than watching SmackDown sometimes. It's better than watching Raw sometimes. I'll tell you that, man. So
they're both entertaining, and I enjoy them both. I prefer NXT. That's my 2 cents. Then we come along to SmackDown. SmackDown, King Corbin comes out on a carried throne. What did you think of the
that was cool.
The dudes carrying him out?
I like that a lot.
He's getting some epic heat.
Don't fall, don't trip, don't fall.
Epic
but it was
heat.
cool. He came out and did his thing.
And then he has Rudolph on his side now, which is pretty fucking funny. I don't know if it was because my truck got destroyed or I was super tired, but when Corbin played Roman Reigns music with the dog singing along to the music, I laughed. I couldn't help it. I loved it. It's so dumb. I don't know what the guys are going to think about it, but I thought it was fucking funny.
It was funny. It was some silly stuff. I kept wondering who was going to be in the costume, like the mascot costume.
I thought it was Roman at first.
Roman Reigns, obviously.
Yeah, because remember they were on the outside? I thought for sure he was going to take his cartoon head off and it was going to be Roman Reigns, just spears him or some shit. And then
but it wasn't. I wonder who played it. I have no idea.
Then we get a Daniel Bryan segment with Sami Zayn and Nakamura. Sami Zayn was basically saying, "Come on, man, are you going to join us or not? What's going on? Why not? Why aren't you joining us? Come on." And then Daniel Bryan goes, "When I got attacked by the Fiend, you took off. What the hell's up with that?" And then Sami was just like, "What? I don't know. I was going to get Nakamura."
I thought you were right behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why Daniel Bryan singled out Braun Strowman after he just had a segment, but he goes, "Why don't you get Braun Strowman?" And he's like, "Anybody but Braun, that guy, I hate that guy." And then he shows up behind him, and Sami Zayn's like, "Oh, hey, man, how's it going? We got to go." Sammy's just great with comedy,
that
man.
was a little awkward for a little, but he's really good. He's good on the mic. Sammy's perfect. I love him on the mic. I was wishing that Brian actually said, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll join you guys." That would have been different. I would have been like, "Whoa, okay." But no, he's got to be kind of a good guy. Not like the good guy, but I kind of like him a little bit. So they need him to be a face against the Fiend. But I kind of feel like the Fiend is more of a face too now. He's definitely kind of in that tweener stage right now, where he's not true evil, or he is supposed to be a bad guy, but fans love him. I can't figure that out. Because I like Bray a lot too, but...
Yeah. We get a big old brawl between the Undisputed Era, and they mess up the New Day and Revival's match, and then the SmackDown locker room comes out to back them up. I thought that was pretty cool. Revival was beating Revival. The Undisputed Era was beating the shit out of everybody at first. It was pretty cool to see. They hit their finisher on like all 4 people, which was pretty badass. And then Lucha House Party comes out. That was part of the locker room that came out, like trying to intimidate people. I thought that was pretty funny with Apollo Crews and everybody else. But
you're skipping the best part of that whole thing. You're skipping the best part of that whole thing. They had to go to like a commercial break, and then New Day comes back, and Big E, he's bouncing on the ropes. Did you see that?
I did see that.
He's like got his legs. That was hilarious. That total Big E. I'm like, that is hilarious. I'm like, Big E is perfect. Like, he is so awesome.
If he doesn't get a singles push soon, it's going to be a crime against nature.
Yeah, he definitely needs it. Even against Shinsuke would be awesome, like an intercontinental thing. That would be sweet.
Do you think he'll ever turn on Kofi or vice versa?
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. I want those guys to stay together forever. That would be weird, though. I could see them doing it, but that would suck. That would totally suck. Because I like New Day. I even have one of their shirts. I got the old Pancake Power one, the orange one. So that's one of my favorites.
Well, this seemed like
I hope they don't ever split it.
The common theme throughout this past SmackDown was interference. Most of the matches had all-out brawls and interference. Like Rudolph versus Ali and Shorty G had Roman and King Corbin messing around, and then we had the New Day versus Revival. The Undisputed Era messes that up, and then we get Bayley versus Nikki Cross. Straight up match? Nope. Here comes Shayna Baszler.
Nope.
All the NXT women come out, and here we go again. A brawl. Sasha Banks come out. We get Mrs. Opportunity. Dana Brooke shows up as well. Eventually, it does end up. Dana gets her opportunity in an 8-women tag match for the main event. So NXT ended with women. SmackDown ended with women. I think that's pretty cool. And it was they were both entertaining.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. It was neat. Yeah, that Nikki Cross Bayley match was like, I was glad it was short and they just went to another brawl to get that big 4-man going on the 4-on-4 there, because yeah, that was a snore fest. I was like, I can't watch this.
Yeah, and then SmackDown wins the match, but then the NXT women, they say fuck that, and they just start brawling and beating the shit out of all the SmackDown women. And then here comes the saviors of the women division, Fire and Desire. They ran out there, and that was so the women get the closing wrestling match of the night, but that was not the main event. The main event was the Miz TV when The Fiend interrupts Daniel Bryan in the middle of a great promo, by the way. Miz and Daniel Bryan, they have a chemistry that is undeniable. Every time they talk, they both get fired up, and it's awesome. It's great TV.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And you know what? I don't think Miz is pulling punches on Miz TV recently. Like, I think he's just going off the cuff and saying what he wants to say. I think a lot of that is improv kind of stuff. I don't think it's a lot of structure. Well, I think it's some structure, but I think he's been saying kind of whatever he wants to say.
That's very true. They probably just tell him, hey, you guys go out there, hit these bullet points, but say whatever you want to say, because Miz as a babyface, of course, has been terrible. And maybe Miz is trying to be like, you know what? I'm going to ruffle some feathers and say all kinds of shit.
Yeah, the last couple of times he's really pushing buttons. Like he's hitting main topics.
Are you back, Tryon?
I am back. I am so sorry about that.
I kept saying, Tryon? Tryon, what do you think? What do you think? It's like, uh-oh.
Our AEW recap.
I was hoping I didn't pass my car accident bad luck to you. You were driving, right?
Yeah, I was still driving, and I couldn't. It just disconnected.
Okay, real quick.
Pull over in some parking lot.
Real quick, what was your favorite moment of NXT this week?
I was a real big fan of the main event,
The ladder
Mia
match.
Yim and Io Shirai match, and
Yeah,
also
Mia Yim.
even as subtle as it was, just the moment with Dominic Dijakovic and Keith Lee, where they showed that that look of, okay, we just tried to kill each other, but yeah, we respect each other.
Yes.
And that little handshake, just as subtle as it was, that was great storytelling in my eyes. So I love that part.
Totally agree. What about AEW? We just briefly went over it with Luchasaurus returning. Marco Stunt is an abortion. Cody botching the power slam. Wardlow looking like Chris Masters.
Well, my favorite part, I love the Luchasaurus because my son, my 2-year-old, he's really big into dinosaurs, so that's just one of my favorite AEW guys by default.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch all of AEW, but I did watch the Chris Jericho MJF segment. I don't know how many times on YouTube.
Yeah.
I watched that quite a few times.
But
do you want to join the Inner Circle? Do you want me in the Inner Circle? Do you want to join the Inner Circle?
what about the Dark Order trying to get Marco to join them?
See, I didn't catch any of that. I'm pulling a Jake this week. I missed most of AEW.
You caught the best part of the night, though, right? When Orange Cassidy was in the bathroom?
Yes, I did. I watched that on Instagram. They posted the video.
That was very funny. But we're covering SmackDown now, and we're all the way to the part where Daniel Bryan was on Miz TV, and we were just talking about how great the chemistry is between Miz and Daniel Bryan every time they cut promos together.
Oh, yeah. Those guys, man. In the words of Seth Rollins, those guys are wrestling soulmates.
Exactly. And we get the debut.
Agreed.
We get the debut of the brand new Universal title. What's it going to look like? The Fiend is the champion now. What's this brand new title going to look like? What is it going to be? And all they did was change it from red to blue.
Yay!
Yay, yowie wowie.
I guess so, man.
So lame.
But we're going to get
So lame.
The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series. There's so many ways this match could end. So many ways this match could go. We could see a Sammy run in. We could see someone help Daniel Bryan take out The Fiend, but I doubt that's going to happen. What do you guys think is going to happen at the main event of Survivor Series?
The main event of Survivor Series, Brock Lesnar's going to crush Rey Mysterio.
Oh, yeah.
That's going on last.
That's opening. That has to open.
Yeah. No, I think the Fiend I think the Fiend has his best match that he's had. I think it's going to be an actual match. I don't think it's going to be a squash or whatever the hell he was doing with Rollins. I think it's going to be a pretty amazing match. And I think it's going to end with the Fiend getting the win.
How,
I agree.
How will he stop him? How will he stop the Fiend?
Maybe I'm the only one who remembered this, or maybe I'm crazy. Didn't Daniel Bryan have a run-in with the Wyatt family a long time ago?
Yeah, he had his own
Where they
jumpsuit
wanted
and
him to
everything.
join the Wyatt family?
Yeah, he joined for like a couple
I thought
weeks.
he had some. He joined for like a minute.
Yeah, for like a week or two, he was in it.
Yeah, Bray was talking about something like, I remember something about you or something like that in his promo. And I was like, wasn't he in the Wyatt? I was like, I remember something like that. Like, he turned on Bray at one time when he joined him into the Wyatt family. And I was like, oh, that could be what he remembers. That would be kind of cool if they did something with the past history, too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember the Royal Rumble where the fans took over in Philadelphia when Roman Reigns won?
Yes.
The fans were outraged and they're going to burn down the fucking arena. That was the Royal Rumble where Daniel Bryan took on Bray Wyatt. It was the conclusion of that story, and Bray Wyatt beat Daniel Bryan clean. They never mentioned that. They like swept that match under the rug. But during during a one-on-one match,
I swear I remember.
Bray Wyatt got the best of Daniel Bryan. So how the hell is Daniel going to beat an unstoppable monster when he couldn't beat him when he was normal fat Bray?
Yeah, you guys are good at mine.
It should be entertaining. It should be good. But, okay. Great week of wrestling. And now we're coming to the tag team crumb-offs. I want you to put your heads together and come up with one tag team that you want in the tag team crumb-offs. You two agree on one.
Any suggestions?
No, I was waiting to see what you were going to say.
Any era, any promotion.
Rated RKO.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, that's a good one.
You know I'm an edge
That's
head.
a really good one.
Do you agree?
That's a real good one. I agree.
All right.
That's a really, really good one.
It's official. Rated RKO. Hell yeah. Did you guys hear the other entries, by the way?
No, who got injured?
No, the entries in the tag team crumb-offs to date.
Oh, entries. I thought you said injury. No, I missed it. Who else is in?
We have the Oddities, Billy and Chuck, Head Cheese, the Dicks, Eminem, and Demolition.
Well, we got this. Our team's the best out of all of those.
Yeah, I would say.
Well, once I get Julius Caesar is going to give me the final tag team. I'm going to assemble the bracket. I'm going to send it to the Steel Real guys, and I'm going to have them debate it. Because I took myself out of this tag team crumb-offs because I want them to discuss it on the podcast. I think it'll be entertaining.
Agreed. That would be agreed. There's a motley crew in that tag team crumb-offs.
It really is.
I don't even remember the Dicks. Like, I saw their entrance, and that was it. I don't remember them wrestling or anything.
Yeah, me either.
I couldn't name who they were, but were they like strippers or something?
Yeah, they look like Chippendales.
They looked like
Something like that.
Billy and Chuck. Oh.
All right, guys. Well, do either of you have anything you want to plug or give a shout out to?
No, man. Just keep up with APPWs. Those things are awesome.
It's gonna be a good one tomorrow, I believe, on APBW Dynamite. We're gonna see the final conclusion of Andy versus Mangria. Who's gonna take it?
My money's on Mangria.
Pull it from Mangria.
Hell yeah!
Mangria takes the table.
All right, guys. Well,
awesome.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me for this episode. And as always, all hail Linda's Bush. Once again, thank you to all of my guests for this week's Hangover. It was a group effort. Thank you, everybody. Thank you at Peter Wayne Kent. Thank you at Mr. _Tryon. Thank you at Zankchris. Thank you at Julius_Caesar. Thank you to my wife for helping me with the commercial. And thank you all for listening. Here come them plugs. Follow the Steel Real After Party podcast on Instagram at Steel Real to Us, at After Party Jake, at After Party Zanka. To follow the podcast on Facebook, you search Steel Real After Party. Hit that like button to cover your nips with all them Steel Real merchandise shirts. Shop.spreadshirt.com/Steel Real After Party. And as always, Back to the Future Part 2 was the best of the trilogy.